Yep, this is not a drill, people. This is not a drill. This is really not a drill. Christian Horner has indeed been sacked. And this is a breaking story. I was debating about whether or not to go live on this matter or to make a, well, you know, in the old words of the old team principal, give it a go and do a proper script. But no, this is so ongoing, this is so brand new, that this could potentially be, well, it is monumental for many, many reasons. So, for those of you who might be wondering, Christian Horner has indeed been given the chop. And if you are just coming around to this channel to get this news about the Red Bull team principal being retired from the stable of active duty for 20 years, and wondering, who the heck is this guy on a ladder? Well, I'm LawVS, I'm the F1 ladder man, and I'm here to present my raw dog interpretation of what's just happened. So, LawVS, more like RawVS. And if you do appreciate what I have to say, give this video a like, so that means it can be spread out to more people, so we can all learn about this information together. So go on, press the like button. Maybe you can even do a cheeky subscribe, because subscribers get to add to the chat, so if you wish to join the conversation, then you gotta subscribe. And then if you can, drop a super chat. That'll be really appreciated. And let's just get into the meat of the topic. So, right now, this is definitely going to be a lot more spontaneous than my other videos. I just finished my script about Jonathan Wheatley being at Sauber and what his presence can mean for that team. Well, for starters, I'm pretty sure that the top bods over at Red Bull were not happy when Jonathan left to go and join Sauber and then Audi, because that would have been the most likely replacement of Christian Horner. Now they don't have him. Red Bull bods, all the fans are going, we could have had Jonathan. We could have had Jonathan! But no, Sauber are getting it, and Nico got his first podium because of it. So therefore, it's just not good for the overall morale of Red Bull Racing. And I've seen many people in the chat noting that this could be the death knell about the presence of Max Verstappen at Red Bull. I think the opposite, because this to me seems like Red Bull's last gasp, last resort effort to make sure about Max staying at Red Bull, because the main bone of contention that the Verstappen camp have had in the longest time recently has been in relation to what Horner has been doing or not been doing. You know, the whole thing, you're saying that it's a powder keg over at Red Bull Racing, that Christian is the thing to blame, bringing the side down because of all the allegations hurled against the long-term team principal. Well, this might be the last gasp to tell Jos, hey, we really take you seriously, so please, Max, stay. We'll give you more influence, we'll give you more control. Just please, give us one last chance to do better. And yeah, there might have been some pre-discussions in regards to a Mercedes deal. By the way, thank you very much for that super chat, by the way. We are going to be getting into the bombshell. Oh, hang on. Did somebody say BBC? Well, what does the BBC say? Yeah. Okay, BBC. Oh, Ben Collins. Ben Collins, sports journalist. Yeah. For those of you who don't know and are new to the channel, which you can, by the way, subscribe, I always go to, for these really, really big stories that transcend the specialist news stories sites like GP Blog, Racing News 365, what have you, and Sports Week and Sportskeeda. When the BBC pick up things, this is serious because, well, Andrew Benson learnt a thing or two from Damon Hill back in the day to not post nonsense, and Andrew Benson doesn't post nonsense. Whereas Ben Collins from the BBC is now saying he has been sacked by Red Bull, not asked to resign, sacked, and this does not tell me that he is bound to be going to Ferrari anytime soon, or something that is going to be immediate. So this comes 17 months after inappropriate behaviour, twice cleared of the claims, and the statement is, Red Bull Racing has released Christian Horner from his operational duties with effect from today, and has appointed Laurent Mekies as CEO, Chief Executive of Red Bull Racing. And this is something that Red Bull, the drinks company, not the racing team, has said. There is, of course, more to follow. And this is absolutely blowing up. This is something, I don't know whether this is bigger than, yeah, F1 account confirmed? Well, let's go over there. Let's go over to Red Bull Racing. What's Oracle Red Bull Racing saying? Oh, okay. No. No Red Bull Racing, they've kept quiet. What does F1, what's the official F1 account saying? Because if Formula 1 if this is Formula 1, this is Formula One, and we need to know. Oh, yep, here we go. Yep, Formula One, they've done the graphic and everything. Breaking, Christian Horner leaves Red Bull with immediate effect. Oh my goodness. So, yes, I am not making this up, people. This is very much real. This is something really huge. And do you know what this means? My personal take, and I'll get to Laurent Mekies' significance in this in a moment, but you know what? I think this means that Yuki Tsunoda has been saved. I think Yuki Tsunoda will survive into next year. And why? Because of Laurent, who was one of the biggest champions of Tsunoda for not getting a promotion to the top team. Well, it was Mekies and Peter Bayer, the CEO of Racing Bulls. So this, to me, sounds like Red Bull, this is the most fantastic thing that could have been done. This is a perfect appointment. Getting rid of Christian Horner, who has essentially been manifesting toxicity. Yes, 5 missiles, he has been sacked. The F1 Twitter account has basically confirmed it. And when they make that graphic, you know it's real. And therefore, who's come in? Laurent Mekies, the guy who's been championing and redesigning Racing Bulls or V-Carb or what have you into a team which nurtures talent. And Jared Caesar goes, Hadjar doesn't get demoted to Red Bull. I think eventually he will get the call up, but just not right now. Raymond Racing. You think this might be Yoss and Helmut pressuring him out, or just a culmination of bad results with the Silverstone shambles? I don't think it's the results per se. I don't think it's that. I think it's because, well, I think it might be something to do with just all of the bad aura, the bad energy around the team has been centered around Horner since the allegations came out, which I really can't go into much elaboration on because, UK journalism laws, etc. If you're from outside the UK, you're more than welcome to just look it up for yourself without any trials or tribunals. But the main thing is that I feel like this is the best thing that could happen to Red Bull Racing, because Laurent Mekies, who's taking over V-Carb? Alan Permain. That's the guy who came in from Alpine and has been shadowing Mekies and Bayer. Peter Ward, thank you very much for the super chat, buddy. That's very much appreciated and very much obliged. So I will be sure to like that. I like that a lot. There you go. Thank you very much. And if anyone else would like to put in a super chat, that would be very most welcome. Aiden de Dulfin. If Max stays with Red Bull, I think he'll go to Merck after this. There was an argument in Silverstone. Will Max get priority in the car development now? I think what will happen is that Red Bull will take stock of the concerns that Max has and take more of a serious venture, and I wouldn't be surprised if Laurent Mekies gets rid of Pierre Wache and puts in Joey Eggington, who's currently within Red Bull Applied or Advanced Technologies, and he's the guy that helped design the V-Carbo 2, which, as we now know, is a far more versatile and forgiving machine, as said by Max Verstappen himself. We are going to need a complete overhaul in the technical team, and Philip Kronos, I can imagine Sebastian Vettel will come in some shape or form. Daniel Meehan, thanks very much. I'm less of a legend and more like a leg end because I need a leg end to get up this ladder, so that's why I'm up here. But do we think Marco is staying? I think Marco most likely will be insisted to take a back seat. And my wife is messaging me right now. Change the video. I'm currently live. Yeah, so I'm saying to my wife, I am currently live. So there you go. 4,000 people. Blimey. Wow. Crikey. And there's not a George Russell inside. Window of the Soul. I watched all your videos. Oh, well, thank you very much. Very much obliged. This is just loads of people going Horner to Ferrari. Now, that is a fair assessment. It's F1 tweet's already close to 500,000 views. Wow, that's a lot. Prez, who do you think was the driving force behind this change? Thanks for your entertaining videos as always. Oh, definitely the Verstappen camp, without a doubt, no question. And the Thai side of the team. I can imagine that the Verstappen camp and the Thai side of the team probably came together and was just like, nah, we can't be having this. Max wants to leave, and the only way that we can be able to delay the inevitable is for Christian to step down, put Laurent Mekies in, and we got what we got. We'll eventually most likely get maybe a more formal statement coming out soon, but the ramifications of right now is quite crazy. And people saying Horner to Alpine, I don't know. Do you know what this means, though? The Red Bull powertrains experiment is a little bit now in the ether, because the powertrains experiment was Horner's baby. So it's not like Horner has been sent off to, the engine department to go and tinker with his toys. He's gone. He's gone entirely. Oh, the Jackal. I'm currently sitting at work, and when your stream notification came through, I nearly screamed. Well, thank you very much, buddy. And thank you very much for the super chat. Palsada. Will Max or Jos care with the car the way it is? I think they will, so long as they know that they are going to be actually heard and taken seriously, and that whatever gets done is actioned as soon as possible. So that's what I think will most likely happen, that there has to be some backroom dealings to make sure that Max will at least stay for 2026. This might lend George a reprieve, but rumours have been circulating that George does not particularly want to have a 1+1 deal. He wants a 2+1 sort of job at the very least. Option F1. Oh, where did you go? Legit started my channel a few months ago, started uploading, and then this happens. Love your channel, Law. Who replaces Laurent Mekies? Alan Permain. So he's come in from Alpine. So he's now come in. He's now taking over the role of team principal at Racing Bulls. He's been shadowing Mekies, I think, for a while. So I think there'll be some stability and continuity there. But thank you very much, and best of luck to your channel, by the way, mate. Marcus, you are my most reliable, best-informed F1 guy. Oh, thanks very much, Marcus. That's really appreciated. Loving the videos. Can I get a, oh, yeah? Well, oh, no. Good day from Melbourne. Well, Aiden the Dolphin again. I guess Christian didn't change his fudging car. Do you have confidence in Mekies? I don't know much about him and his qualifications. Oh, you bet your bottom sweet bippy I do. Absolutely. Laurent Mekies has managed to actually give Racing Bulls some identity and a much more nurturing atmosphere. As in, you feel like Liam is regaining some confidence in that car, and that the team actually gives a damn about him and is willing to give him the time of day. Hadjar has flourished in those conditions. Tsunoda had very important backing in his quest to be promoted. Mekies, I think, is the real deal. So imagine this. A couple of years ago, he was, part of the Ferrari package, not likely to become a team principal, and then within 2 years, boom, he's at less than 2 years, boom, he's a team principal. That, I think, that's a really good decision. Even if it's just for a couple of years, till maybe they can get someone else. Even if it's just a temporary placeholder, I think Mekies is a good pick. I saw your notification, messaged everyone as fast as I could. Oh, well, thanks very much, buddy. Oh, did I miss any super chats? Let's just make sure. Oh, the Herter, thank you very much for becoming part of the VS Posse, which you can also do as well, becoming a member. I'll put in Singapore. Aiden the Dolphin, I'll reply to that. Let's just make sure I... okay. Annabelle. Yuki to keep his seat. I wouldn't say that it's super duper confirmed. Oh, apparently... Okay, I'll touch upon that briefly, because this came up from Daniel in the chat. I think Yuki stands a better chance of keeping his seat for next year, because the one thing I think Max will insist upon is consistency and stability and continuity, and he's been telling everyone for all this time that the issue is not changing the driver, it's about changing the car. So I think personally, Yuki will have a supporter in Max, and the Verstappen camp will have much more influence should they remain with Red Bull. The Thai side will be more than willing to comply with whatever Max demands to make it definitely his team. So that means he can have full control, and that might be something Toto cannot offer him. Total control. Because Toto wants Toto control. That could be a very important gambit in all of this. That Red Bull, this is a nuclear bomb in discussions. Toto's probably looking at this saying, what the hell, I can't compare to this. It's like, what the hell, it's absolutely crazy. And it's like, no, that was a bit of Gunther in there, sorry about that. Let's see. Perth Zaku Girl. As soon as I heard the rumours on Facebook about Horner, my husband said, what's LawVS there about it? So happy if Yuki is safe. Hi from Perth, Australia. Oh, well, thank you very much. Oh, where was that chat? Here we go, Daniel. So, according to Daniel in the chat, on Sky Sports, Brundle said that Horner told him he was not given a reason for being sacked. Rumours are now also circulating of a massive argument between Verstappen and Horner at Silverstone. Well, there's your problem. That's the reason. Horner maybe to Cadillac or Aston. Horner, no, absolutely not. Cadillac has got Graham Loudon in there already, and Aston, they've got Andy Cowell. And Andy Cowell is a huge bigwig in terms of where Mercedes got their really big gains in terms of the power unit, so I don't think they're going to be getting rid of him. Tuppy, thought I'd have a Red Bull this morning, and this happens? Do I need to replace my coffee with Red Bull now? And Jos Verstappen to the second seat of Red Bull? The Verstappen family, reunited. Well, I think, Benjamin, no clickbait. No clickbait. Go to the Formula One Twitter account, and actually, let's take a look at F1.com. So, let's look at the official F1 website. What does that say? What does it say? Yep! There you go. Benjamin, if you go to Formula1.com, it's the top billing. It is real. It is real. And, yeah. Racing Director of Racing Bulls, Alan Permain, will take over as the team principal of Racing Bulls. So, there you go. That's been confirmed. That has been confirmed. Absolutely. Absolutely and entirely. Oh my golly gosh. That's a lot of you. Whoa. Wow. This is crazy, people. Thank you very much for tuning in to this ladder man's ramblings. But, okay, let's make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh God, this is I gotta try and find, just finished dinner. Oh God. Aiden says, how did Red Bull go from winning every race in 2023 except one to lose Newey, Marshall, Whitley and Horner? Well, toxicity. Internal toxicity. It was just not a nice place to be at, basically. So all of these people left to try and do something else. That's the long or the short of it. Andrew, just finished dinner here in Australia, jumped on YouTube and nearly fell off my chair. Glad you didn't fall off your ladder, Law, mate. Love the channel. Oh, well, thank you very much, buddy. Much appreciated with that. That is in kanji. I can't really pronounce that. Will Horner try to find sponsors and money to bring his 12th team in for work? I think, quite frankly... Oh, an annoyed intern. Thank you very much for your super chat, Diane Darcy. I think Horner, it's either going to be the Ferrari gambit to replace Vasseur, whose contract will probably not be renewed if Ferrari are, what Ferrari are exactly saying, or it's going to ultimately end up in him just retiring. To be fair, he's made his riches, he's made his wealth, he's gotten his success, he's gotten his titles, so I wouldn't be surprised if he just decides to pack it in. Yeah, I got the notification from Formula One itself, so there you go. Zitro, thank you very much for your heart emoji, very much appreciated. This is absolutely crazy, I'm not gonna lie. Raymond Racing, I only see Horner to Ferrari if Elkan guts the current pit wall and goes looking for new scouts from the Scuderia underperforms. That's a very good point, Racing. I like that. I'm actually going to try and like that because the chat's going by very, very quickly. Oh, come on. Where are you at? Okay, I'm trying to like the comment, but it's hard. Vinny the D, way to get my morning going. I'm in the gym and your notification popped up. Well, there you go. His dismissal Horners has popped up. Foregone Naps, is this all too little too late for Rebel? No, I don't think so. I think this is a very desperate gambit from Red Bull. This might work. Why am I in the attic, Ben? You might be asking. It's to contain my lofty thoughts. There you go. But that point about Ferrari, that's a very good point. Because, yeah, Alan Permain promoted to the team principal of ECOP, absolutely. But what this could actually mean is that this potentially means that Laurent Mekies will have plenty of people within Ferrari that he knows. So this could be an opportunity for anyone at Ferrari who's being kept down in terms of promotions and traditions. They could have an in within the Red Bull group. And that guy Laurent is in charge now. That could be a huge coup, actually. I wouldn't be surprised if the Hamilton experiment doesn't work. There could be a Ferrari brain drain. Sean asks, is there a chance GP will receive an elevated role now in an attempt to keep him if Max leaves? As head of racing for RB, that's already a tricky issue. Maybe, potentially. But I think they'll probably most likely want to make sure his main duty is to be the engineer of Verstappen. Aiden, if they lose Max Verstappen, it wouldn't surprise me if Red Bull pull the plug on its F1 programme. Also, Spa Media Day will be interesting. It will be very interesting indeed. Drive to Survive is going to love this. Oh, you bet your sweet bippy it will. Ethan Blaine, surely Verstappen to Mercedes then. What if Max had signed Merc and this was the result? So we're getting a lot of people mentioning this question, and that is a fair and valid point to bring up. But I honestly suspect that I think this could mean that Max might be staying. That maybe this is the last resort that Red Bull had in their arsenal to get rid of Christian. Maybe giving Max Verstappen that little bit more influence of the team, which, understandably, he has crafted to around himself. And if he has more influence, then that could be it. Because this has come up in the past, where the Verstappen team have complained about not having much influence, or the team not doing enough to appease Max. And usually it's come with some clauses or guarantors. So potentially this might be a huge upping of the ante. Now we go from where Verstappen was in 2019 to now him being a 4-time world champion. So this could easily be their last chance to keep him. Kieran, Horner to Alpine? Maybe, but I could easily see him also retiring. Alex the Hunted. Just makes you wonder how bad things are at Red Bull. I could certainly imagine they've reached a peak. I could certainly imagine that they have now peaked these concerns and something had to be done. They had to pull the plug. Foregone Napster. Max to Merc, final pressure from Max to fire Horner. Yeah, absolutely. I think Max's team, and Jos in particular, probably went to Red Bull, the board, the actual drinks company, and said, look, if this doesn't happen, if Christian does not leave, I am taking Max to Mercedes. And there probably might have been discussions going on, because that would have been in Jos's back pocket. Because surely, what kind of things would they be able to convince the Red Bull board for them to actually do this if they didn't have talks with Toto in their back pocket? Or just get Toto on speed dial and just go, yes, absolutely, yeah, it's absolutely true. Yes, Oliver, you better come up with something really fancy if you want to keep your guy in the car. And then surely enough, they do this and they say, no, I didn't exactly expect them to do this. It's like, Oh, BBC have a full quote from Oliver Minslav. Okay, well, I'll do that in a couple of chats. Does this happen if Max is finished on the podium at Silverstone? Put another way, did Piastri get Horner fired? Maybe, but that's an interesting point. I hadn't thought of that. Chim Chim, prep for a very annoyed Max at press briefing. Oh, well, he was already grumpy. What if we take it at face value and this was just halfway point performance review? Potentially. But I never heard anything about, Silverstone being a flashpoint. Okay. Oh, here we go. Here's a statement. We would like to thank Christian Horner for his exceptional work over the last 20 years. With his tireless commitment, experience, expertise and innovative thinking, he has been instrumental in establishing Red Bull Racing as one of the most successful and attractive teams in F1. Thank you for everything, Christian, and you'll forever remain an important part of our team history. And that's it. So, honestly, that doesn't surprise me that, they're not going to be disparaging Christian anytime soon, because remember, there is an investigation going on at the moment, and that doesn't want to be seen as evidence. But, yeah, I certainly think that the biggest winner out of all of this is certainly going to be Yuki Tsunoda. This is fantastic news. Fantastic news for him. Jonathan Wheatley to Red Bull. No, absolutely not. I don't think so. I don't think that's not going to be the case because, well, Jonathan's now getting to be the team principal without question at Audi. And look what's happening over there. Within 12 races, they've now scored more points than Red Bull in the last 4 races. And I love that many people compare Red Bull to Sauber whenever they're not doing great. I don't think you can do that anymore because, well, Sauber, if they are still considered to be a tractor, if you've been a watcher of Clarkson's farm, is more like a Lamborghini. The road to sunrise. Do you think Horner's exit has been planned for a period since the allegations, or was Silverstone the straw that broke the camel's back? Well, if the rumours are to be true, that Jos Verstappen and he had a blazing row with one another, then that could easily be the case. That might have been it. Absolutely. So, and why is this good for Yuki? Well, Laurent Mekies, for all the brand new people, what does this mean for Red Bull now in 2026? I personally mean that this could mean Verstappen-Tsunoda next year, potentially, with Lindblad and either Hajar or Lawson. No, probably Hajar, most likely. Hajar, Lindblad. Lawson might get a reprieve as a reserve driver or something like that. Or maybe they might help facilitate him getting into another team. Touchpad. And here I was predicting Max to Mercedes, Antonelli to Ferrari, and Hamilton retiring. Hannah Schmitz for the TP of Red Bull. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure with that, annoyed intern, but I'm pretty sure that many people within the organisation will be breathing a sigh of relief that the main source of negativity regarding this team, as we saw at F175, the booing that Christian received, my goodness, that took him aback. Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. This is something that I don't think he expected. I don't think this is something that he saw coming. Yeah, you're right, Ryan. We're all going like, what? Yeah, this is definitely worthy of coming up the ladder live. So this was just saying, do it live. And yeah, Laurent Mekies has been confirmed. Checo return is coming. I don't think so. But, oh my god, Mick Schumacher confirmed as TP of RB. Someone sent Christian Ron Dennis's phone number. Surely this is not all on Horner, Marco, and Yoss doing all the politics. Yeah, probably. I mean, I think it's a little rash for them to have done it right now. So right now, in the middle of the season. I expected them maybe to do it at the end of the year, but supposedly they don't have time for that. I don't think Marco will be going because Marco and Horner have butted heads quite often. They've almost been like polar opposites. So I personally think that Marco will be okay, but most likely they'll sort of wind him back a bit. So, yes, Helmut Marko is still going to be perching on the Red Bull ladder, but he'll just be walking further and further away, so he'll be like, hey, that guy is a C-grade driver. And then people are just like, yeah, okay, Marco, you just say that from over there. And then Sebastian will come in, and then he'll be all smiles and sunshine, and then all will be well with the world. Pal Sada, we got a Horner sacking before GTA. We got a Hulkenberg podium before GTA 6. And, oh god, that podium, man. If Oscar had gotten a 5-second penalty, there would have been a crash between them, and Hulkenberg might have won the Grand Prix. How close were we to that? That 10-second penalty saved McLaren from disaster, but anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. GP for team principal? It depends on how willing Max would want to do that, because him being the TP would mean that Max doesn't have him as a race engineer anymore, because he wouldn't have time to do that. So I doubt that that's the case. I think it's going to be either Laurent Mekies himself, or he's going to ultimately end up being the, he's ultimately going to be ending up finding someone else who will take the job. But, oh my goodness, this is insane. This is absolutely bonkers. I mean, I'm just looking at my screen, and it's just absolute. Oh, wow. Just absolutely insane. Wow. Just looking at all the stats and stuff, just everyone's just going absolutely bonkers. Rumours of Horner to Ferrari. Thoughts? As much as I would like to say maybe, it depends on what happens with Vasseur. Because according to Benedetto Vigna, I checked this just before I went live, they are still in discussions with Vasseur because the contract is coming toward an end, so Ferrari could easily just go, well, we don't want to extend your... Well, we won't renew your contract. So it won't be necessarily a sacking, it's just necessarily, they won't continue a relationship, a working one with him, Vasseur. And then maybe it could be a chance to bring in Horner, but at the same time, the allegations towards Christian haven't gone away. That is going to be then something Ferrari potentially would have to deal with. And in regards to, gardening leave, remember, we've got to take that into consideration as well, because there's gardening leave to be had here. Christian, even though he's been sacked, that doesn't necessarily mean he can then go off and work with another team straight away. It may have to involve at least 12 months of gardening leave, maybe even more considering the standing of Christian. It could be 2 years, potentially. If Fred goes, so does Lewis. I don't think so. I think Lewis is starting to gain some control and potentially some impetus at Ferrari, because you're getting the Italian media now saying that maybe Ferrari should be listening to Lewis more. He's starting to get the room, and Charles Leclerc is losing it that little bit more every single race. And there's only 16 points between them, so, Hamilton might actually stick around if he is able to lead the team. What do I think will happen to Antonelli? Well, I mean, I did mize potentially Antonelli being shipped off to Alpine as part of the Mercedes package, but I'm not so sure now. I think that maybe Max will be staying within Red Bull. I think this might be the catalyst that will keep the Dutchman within that fold, because, well, that's the long of the short of it, really, because, well, That was their final throw. That was their last offer they could reasonably achieve to give Max more control. And Verstappen, Jos Verstappen more control as well. Otherwise, I think Red Bull would have spiraled. Can I make a video about Alpine? I have made videos about Alpine recently, and they don't necessarily do well, because I don't think many people care at the moment, because I think that they're thinking, oh, it's Flavio, and, he's just Flavio's story, and he's just doing his own thing over there, and he's doing what he said in his hand, because you're degrading Colapinto. The Colapinto hate is really extremely harsh. I mean, I've been looking at all of the British media, and they're really laying into him, whereas all of the other countries, they just report it as is, and that's it, really. So, I do think there is a bit of a disconnect, but that's not for another time. Didelete. Didn't even realise I wasn't subscribed. Let's go, dude! Next on the chopping block is definitely Helmet. Potentially. It depends. But probably at least being scaled back. Brendan McCallion, I love your ladder. Great channel and content. Keep up the great work, my friend. Hello from Ireland. Great, Brendan. Thank you very much for joining me. Galway, by the way, I've been to quite a few times. Very lovely place. Street Revolution Motorsports, welcome to the VS Posse. Thank you very much for becoming a member. Well, hey. Yeah, there are so many things to unpack here. I'm going to just check the socials to see if there's been any updates, because we've now been going for half an hour, and, there might be some more changes. There might be something else that we can talk about, just to kind of see if there's anything... Oh, yeah, oh no, one guy I follow has gone, the realisation that there'll be no windbag and drama between Wolff and Horner anymore. Oh, man. Like, that's a really good point. We're not gonna have Toto and Christian drama anymore. Oh, man. Toto's gonna be a sad pumpernickel. Oh, man. Yeah, unfortunately... That's a shame. Yeah. Prince of Tonga, you got to look at this from a political thing. Too many others at Red Bull Racing and corporate had it out for him, and together with... Yeah, you're right. You're right, Prince of Tonga. Definitely. Certainly. That is it. There were too many enemies. Ryan Wu, Tomo is also alive? Huh. I wonder how many people he's got, because I got live first. Not that it's a competition. Not that it's a competition. I just want to see... Ah! Ha ha! Yeah, 4,500. Piddly. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Tomo's great. We're all talking about this, and let's have a bit of a ding dong. Anyway, it's worthwhile going live, to be honest. But yeah, it's very true. Ramon, if Max goes to Merc, where does George end up? Well, it really depends about which one actually gets removed. Pumpernickel burnt like crackers. Dual stream with Tomo when? Well, Henry, it depends on whether or not we can actually get that sort of thing up and running, or whether, we do like a guest or political. Don't worry, Hopeful Gamer, this isn't a competition. We don't need to worry about that. Where is Matt and Tommy? That's a very good point. Why aren't they? They're not streaming. Yeah, maybe they're working on like a really big, more detailed video, saying Matty going like, our thoughts about Christian Horner retiring from Red Bull Racing. And then Tommy just going, oh dear. The Dave C. Wright, has the House of Cards collapsed? Is this rock bottom, or is there more to come? No, I definitely think this is rock bottom, for sure. This is the thing. By the way, if you're brand new here, if you've just joined us, do definitely press the like button. We want to get this out to more people. More people need to have this to vent, because I'm pretty sure more people want to know about this. And I do feel like and subscribe if you'd like, because the subscribers have very much been piling in, and it's absolutely insane, because we've now gone over 123,000. My giddy aunt, that's amazing. Thank you very much for joining us. Okay, let's make sure. Loyal Tree Singer. Jos has always been a jelly cold. I'm certain he's orchestrated the firing of Horner. Also, Laurent Mekies to Red Bull. That's not going to help. Huh? I think this is going to be a fantastic thing for Red Bull Racing, honestly, because Laurent Mekies has proven to me that he is a really sound egg. As in, he's a good guy, he's got his drivers back, he supports them, he's made V-Carb into a really good place for Red Bull junior rookies. I think he's done a fantastic job in that regard. Asiel Dimas, will Red Bull 2026 even be a top 4 car, or is it just super doomed? it depends really on the Red Bull powertrain. I think it might be a bitter pill to swallow, but if Max can be promised that there is going to be more of his say put into the car and him working with Yuki, then there could be an opportunity for him to really have a full team to himself. And this is something I don't think Toto can give him. Absolute control. Because sure, if he goes over to Mercedes next year, he will be the lead driver alongside Antonelli potentially, or partnered up with Russell. But Toto is the guy in charge. There is a clear leader there, and Max will have to toe the line in some capacity. Whereas now at Red Bull Racing, with no one there, and whoever comes in will be most likely somebody who will succeed to the Verstappen camp that little bit more. It's not their own personal baby, this team. They've just been hired to be brought in. Whereas with Christian, this was his project back in 2005. This was what he was brought in for at the very beginning when Red Bull bought the team from Jaguar. So it stands to reason that that will be the case. So I do think that Yuki has a really good chance of surviving. And I feel like Max will most likely stay. Or at least there's a better chance of him staying. Whew. Okay, that's a lot to talk about. That's a lot to discuss here. So, definitely something just to unpack. So, what have we got? What else have we got? Okay. Just double checking something. Okay. Arvid might take another season. I don't think so, because, he's got his super license, but I think it really depends on what Laurent Mekies wants to do with the overall situation. Do they want to keep... Yeah, I mean, that might be a valid point, that they might just keep Arvid down in the F2 for another year if he doesn't win the championship, just to give him even more experience. It means by the time that... It'll also give... It'll give Max one more year to decide, and if he does eventually go in 2027, then Yuki could lead the team, potentially. Hadjar takes up the role. Lawson comes in with Lindblad for 2027, so that means Lawson might keep his job, but then he becomes an ultimate yardstick. This is all really in progress, people. There's a lot of things to unpack here that could really spell out what the future is going to be for this team. This is very much a developing story. This is very, very much developing. So, let's see. Any more developments? Oh, okay. So, that's the thing. So, that is one point to be had. Oh, we've had a couple more super chats. Oh, we've had quite a few. Prez, is this the end of the over-the-decade-long Red Bull dynasty, or the phoenix rising from the ashes? Too early to say in regards to a phoenix rising from the ashes, but I do think it's the end of Red Bull as we knew it, and this is going to be a brand new Red Bull coming out from this. So, TBC in that. Palsada, how soon until we get a LawVS video on this? I don't think we'll be getting a video on this unless there's more developments. Unless there is more. If there is more to be had, then I might make a more detailed video for people who might not be able to catch the stream, or may not be inclined to be watching for 40 minutes plus. So, yeah, I'll see. Other than that, I've got a Salva video for tomorrow, so that's something. Matt Vince, maybe stats of new engine were shown to the board? Potentially. That's a fair, valid point. QA library. RB26 car engine, is it too late for any changes? In terms of the car, no. Your best analysis, the timing seems slightly odd. The timing seems... Yeah, it does seem very odd, doesn't it? It seems very, very peculiar. Very, very peculiar indeed. Tim's PHTG, welcome to the VS Posse. Thanks very much for the time. The race, dang it! The race giving me a jump scare with a Post Malone commercial. Stop it, you! Delete. Another question. Is this Vettel's best way into a Red Bull Racing managerial position? I don't think he would become a manager of some kind. If he is, then it would be some kind of, like, advisory thing, probably to succeed Helmut Marko in the fullness of time. Festinus, hi, here is $2. Thank you very much, Festinus, for the $2. I took a momentary pause from F125 to check my phone, and this is the news I'm met with, WTF. Yeah, struggle. The struggle is real. This is something that I think we were all not prepared for. I mean, eventually, Christian would have retired, but he probably would have retired at the end of the year. Yeah, this is just absolutely crazy. This is just perfectly bonkers, quite frankly. Street Revolution. Do you think there's any chance Horner goes to the Cadillac as at least some advisors for the new team? Oh, that's a good question. Do you think there's any chance Horner goes to the Cadillac? No, I don't think so. They got Graham Loudon there anyway. Tim's PTHTG, thank you very much for the super chat. Do we think the Max to Mercedes with Antonelli Rimmers of legs, or are we thinking Max to Aston as pen? I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's just so much to unpack here. It's just absolutely crazy. That I feel like the Max to Merc thing, it's been pushed back a little bit because this is probably Red Bull's last resort in them trying to stop the overall situation and making sure that Max stays, because the one thing that he's been wanting from this team is the car to just be better, for them to change the car rather than to change the drivers all the time. So this is the last salvo. It may not work, it may not be enough, but this might be just the ticket. This might be the thing to thwart Toto. Tom goes, hey, and Prince of Tonga, this means Max is staying, even though Horner was Max's fan number one and defended him no matter what Team Max didn't like Horner. Yeah, I mean, I can imagine that the Checo situation really did not help. Yeah, Irish Eyes, I think it's a good point. There is not much more to be said. I'm kind of just taking questions at this point. So I think we will just wrap things up for now, because there's not much more to be said. If there is much more to be said, then do check out a potential video in the coming 24 hours or something. So that means I can sit back and really think about this properly. So good point there. Wrap things up with a couple more super chats. I don't think Horner's going to be siding with anyone for the time being, since he knows most of... Yeah, I think he's too much of a hot potato for Red Bull to allow it to go to anyone. My guy, you're on fire. Thanks for breaking the news. Love the ladder. Are there potential questions that Horner might try and take, or will it be over for him, at least for the time being? I think he's going to be going into hiding for a while and just not be talking to anyone. He's just... And I think Red Bull would put some kind of injunction or some kind of thing. We'll find out more in the fullness of time about what conditions he has. But for now, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you much, everyone, for joining the stream. If you've just joined us as a subscriber, thank you very much. And we shall see you all very soon for the next video. So, okay, just tune into the news and bye-bye. Thank you very much.